The patriarchy literally is the biggest cock blocker in history, and I will never shut up about it. Hi, my name is Liz. I ate a burrito for breakfast, and I'm scared of the government. Well, I feel like I should have worn a bra. That's my first feeling.
I'm not a big fan. I'm kind of anti-underwear in general.
But I hate when there's like a dress code. You gotta look this way. You gotta project this thing. I hate it.
If it makes me seem like less of a journalist, like,
I don't care. I was part of this sort of digital media boom. I mean, once I was like doing Man Streets on the hoverboard, you know, in my pink jacket, and it did well. You know, that helps where your bosses are like, keep doing the pink jacket. It's weird, but like it's working. I moved to New York and I started going on cable news, on Fox News. They would fucking, like the hair would be like really teased and just attacked with a spray tan spray. And they had those glass tables where people would see your legs. And very early on, I had a really creepy guy come up to me at Fox Business and be like, I'll be your mentor, you know, like, sure, dude. And I sort of realized that what our gifts and sort of power was actually that we weren't doing things like mainstream media and like boomers who were in charge. I decided to launch my own podcast, but I didn't really have money to like go into a big fancy studio. And so I was like, okay, whatever, let's just film it in bed. And it did like really well. And I was like, oh, I guess a lot of people are feeling what I'm feeling, which is like, I have trouble getting out of bed. You know, the world is a lot. I've been told it's not the best way, like the most inviting thing to find a husband, to have like your childhood plush toy in your bed. So she's not prominently featured, but she's there. Hello. I have this set I bought from La La Land. I love this brand. And I love a set. You know, I love a set. There's something like calming about one pattern. Maybe it is two patterns. They're not supposed to wear together, but I like it. So these are my Dorito socks because I love chips. I made my mom make me a chip costume in the first grade. And then, okay, which hat? I would probably wear abortion pills in the USA. Yeah, what I really like with hats is like a hat that looks like it's MAGA, but it's not, you know? Oh yeah, this is from Succession. It's like one of my favorite shows. I'm the eldest boy. And again, it's just a little confusing because I'm a woman. This is for abortion rights in 1973 when Roe was passed. This is I started Hotties for Harris, so we threw parties in swing states in bars and like tailgates, and sometimes I even went on dates. And then I would try and change the vote. Yeah, I changed some votes. I tried to scale it. It's hard to do it one man at a time. I went on 2 dates with this guy that was leaning towards voting for Trump. He said something like, you know, female lions provide and take care of the cubs, but the male lions circle the pride, right? They ensure that the females and their offspring are safe. And he thought that was a really good example of what being a man means. And so our conversation turns to, do you know that in Georgia, abortion is illegal? Oh no, I didn't really know that. It's like, okay, so let's say that your wife becomes pregnant with your baby and you're at work and she starts bleeding out and she says, and you say, well, go to the hospital. And she says, I can't. And then she loses the baby or she dies. Do you feel that you're protecting her? Do you feel like you're protecting the pride? And that's when literally, I swear to God, it like clicked. Fuck. Like, I can't vote for Trump. For me, what's exciting about that is that we get to lean into masculinity. Like, we get to lean into men's expressions of masculinity. Trump has sold so many fake things. I mean, everything's a scam. His stakes, his university, and so is his definition of masculinity. And have men's lives improved? I would argue they've gotten a lot worse. I played underwater hockey, which is like probably the most Canadian thing I've ever done. And I overheard the boys, you know, talking in the locker room saying, you know, wouldn't it be the perfect woman if it was, you know, Liz's bottom and Katya's top? Like, she had really big boobs and that like crushed me. I mean, I wanted a boob job, you know? It honestly has been like talking to men about it that has made me embrace and like accept and actually like my boobs, they don't care. It would probably look weird if I had big boobs. Probably look weird. Anyways, I went on a date like a couple of days ago, and this is what I wore. I like to intimidate men. I like this top a lot. Obviously, I wear a bra underneath. I make an exception. I like that it's polka dots. I like that it's fun, but it's also sexy. And I wear these shorts because they make my butt look great, right? I will pair it with some fun stockings. These ones have like hearts and like bows and like say stuff. Oh, maybe I would wear like a little extra hair.
I've discovered that really cheap hair extensions are way easier because I don't have to do my hair.
Yeah, that's kind of cute. I wear this purse 9 out of 10 outfits. Even though it's like it seems like, oh, this is such a bold color. It actually, like, there's no color this doesn't go with. And that pockets are my secret.
I guess some people want to look like it's effortless or they didn't really put a lot of effort into it, but I don't know. I'd rather be overdressed than underdressed every day.
I felt really old when I turned 38. I was like, what the fuck? What really helped me was letting go of what I thought I needed to have accomplished by the time I was my age. Yeah, don't have a family. I don't own a house. I don't own a car. I don't even know how to drive. What if all of those things don't need to happen? And what if actually my life is supposed to be even better? That, like, if not this, but something better. And then I started feeling like so young. I was like, oh my God, I'm in my 40s. There is a dearth of fuckable men, and that's not my problem. Like, I kind of had a spiritual awakening through a very dense book about evolution. It's called Eve, Kat Bohannon's book. The reason why we are here right now doing this video, okay, why we exist, is because women, our ancestors, did not reproduce with unhelpful, violent, aggressive, ugly men. Take out ugly. Women choosing and being choosy about the guys that they reproduce with has been a vital part of our survival. I'm so glad to be a part of it. Yeah, this is it. There's a thing in Quebec called Igloo Fest, where we literally party in the snow, like a rave, but outside with igloos. Crazy, but I thought it was fun. I love it. This is fun, right? Yeah. It would be hard to be incognito, like just doing my groceries, like I think this would give a lot of men the feeling of permission to talk to me. Every woman has had that experience of a guy hits on you. You don't look or you don't engage. You're not even saying, get out of my face. You just don't engage. They go, okay, bitch. And we still marry them. I do love subversive things. I really actually enjoy dressing in a certain way. These guys wouldn't expect a woman who's a feminist would look like, right? Actually, I'm a pretty big feminist. And actually, I really don't like it when you don't vote for my rights. And that's not hot. I'm aware of the pretty privilege. I'm aware that holds a lot of power over men. And this isn't just with flirt canvassing. When a guy likes me, he's more willing to respect me, to listen to me, and to want to impress me. And if I tell him that what's impressive to me is believing that I am allowed to have the same rights as he has, I think that's an effective use of my time. It's kind of a big deal that I don't see anything that I don't like. I don't think I knew how to see my body without this tainted lens of self-improvement. When I was sad, angry, or upset, where I'd go, all right, bitch, we're gonna fix this by being harder on ourselves, by giving ourselves less breaks. I've like read all the feminist theory about why it's misogynist to hate my body. I have read all the fucking self-help books. I mean, a lot of them are here. I just realized like my life is so much better when I don't hate myself. No, like I still get angry, I still get sad. That's not what I'm talking about. Through action, like by being kind to myself, I then realize that I'm worthy of kindness. And now I like feel it and it's embodied and it's inevitable for me. If we're in the business of persuasion, you don't persuade people to come to your party by crying in a corner and like doom scrolling, being like, you persuade people by being like, hey, like I'm having so much fun doing this. Do you want to come over? Do you want to come and try it? Do you want to hang out? Like it feels so small. You're like, but what will it do if I go to a protest? What will it do if I go knock on my neighbors, houses and tell them about an upcoming election, or flirt with a guy at a bar and go on 2 dates with him? Well, you might change his vote, and that one vote, as you know, in this country, we don't need a lot. And I think that can be infuriating, right? You're like, man, we're so close. But it can be empowering. Like, actually, there's very little that needs to change for a lot of positive things to happen. It's not homework. Caring about other people and being in community, like, it's literally an antidepressant. I'm not focused on telling my inner child like anything. I'm actually more interested in listening to her. In class, when it was like, okay, draw what you want to be when you grow up. Like, it was like me with like a pink dress with a microphone and like people laughing. So I just really try and like bring her along with me and give her the dream life. Like, what's her dream? I've had a good day if my actions have been aligned with what her dream is for me.